Imagine walking into a cathedral where the air feels thicker, almost alive with whispers from the past. The sunlight bursts through towering stained glass windows, flooding the stone floor with a kaleidoscope of colors. The smell of ancient incense lingers in the air, and suddenly you realize, you are not just in a church, you are inside a story carved in stone, painted in glass, and hidden in shadows. This is the world of Gothic cathedrals, where beauty meets mystery, and where nothing is ever as simple as it first appears. When you look up, the ribbed vaults stretch high above your head like the branches of a petrified forest, pointing to the heavens. These were not simply buildings, they were monuments to faith, power, and secrets. Every sculpture, every gargoyle, every detail carries meaning, some obvious, some still puzzling historians and believers to this day. Today, we're diving into the strange and hidden mysteries behind the walls of Gothic cathedrals across Europe, from Paris to Cologne, from Chartres to Milan. One of the greatest mysteries lies in the way these structures were even built. Think about it, soaring towers and delicate flying buttresses rising in the Middle Ages, at a time without cranes, without computers, without modern machines. The question is, how did they achieve this level of precision? Some theories suggest knowledge passed down from ancient civilizations, others speak of divine inspiration. The Cathedral of Chartres in France is often cited as a puzzle. Its design seems mathematically perfect, aligning with astronomical events. Was this intentional? Or simply a coincidence born of genius craftsmanship? But let's go deeper. Look at the portals, the entrances. In many Gothic cathedrals, the stone carvings surrounding the doors are filled with figures. Some are biblical, of course, but others are not so easy to explain. At Notre Dame de Paris, for instance, hidden among the saints and prophets are creatures that seem almost alien. A spiral man with strange proportions. A monster with a grin that doesn't quite belong to medieval imagination. Were these warnings, artistic jokes, or something else entirely? And then, there are the gargoyles. People often think of them only as rain spouts, but their symbolism runs deeper. They were guardians, meant to ward off evil. Yet their grotesque faces, twisted, monstrous, even demonic, make you wonder, were they reflecting the fears of the people? Or could they represent the very demons the church claimed to fight against? Imagine being a peasant in the 13th century, walking into church, passing beneath these terrifying stone beasts. You'd already feel that you were stepping into another realm. Inside, the mysteries continue. The stained glass windows are not just decoration, they were Bibles in color and light. Most people could not read, but they could read images. Take the famous rose window of Chartres. Its geometry is so perfect that mathematicians still study it. The blues of its glass, known as Chartres blue, are a color that has never been fully replicated. Even with modern technology, we cannot exactly match the intensity of that deep, luminous blue. How did medieval artisans achieve it? Was it an accident of minerals in the sand, or did they know some secret recipe that is now lost to time? But Gothic cathedrals also hide darker mysteries. Secret symbols can be found carved into walls, sometimes Masonic marks, other times pagan references. In Cologne Cathedral, some researchers believe there are coded messages in the sculptures, hints of old alchemical knowledge. At times, you'll find a carving of the Green Man, a figure with leaves sprouting from his mouth, hidden in the shadows of a Christian church. Why would such a pagan image be there, unless the builders themselves were weaving in layers of meaning? And speaking of hidden messages, let's not forget the labyrinths. On the floor of Chartres Cathedral, there's a massive labyrinth, used by pilgrims for meditation and symbolic journeys. Walking its winding path was like going on a spiritual pilgrimage within the safety of the church itself. But some claim it was also a coded reference to ancient mysteries, a map of the cosmos, or even a puzzle left for future generations to decode. Walking it today, you can feel the intention, every step pulling you inward, deeper into reflection. Another enigma is the strange presence of astrology and astronomy in cathedral design. Gothic builders seemed obsessed with light. Cathedrals were not dark, oppressive spaces, they were filled with sunlight, carefully directed through stained glass. Some windows align with solstices, equinoxes, and sacred feast days. Imagine standing inside on a specific day of the year, watching the sun strike a precise spot in the nave. This was architecture acting as a cosmic clock. The builders were not just constructing churches, they were building universes in stone and glass. Let's travel to Milan Cathedral, an enormous, breathtaking masterpiece. On its roof, among its forest of spires, there are statues of saints and angels, but also unexpected figures, like dragons and other fantastical creatures. Why would such beings decorate a holy space? Were they allegories, or reminders of the eternal struggle between good and evil? Some art historians suggest they were a silent acknowledgement that even in the heart of Christianity, the shadow of older myths and fears lingered. And what about hidden chambers? In some Gothic cathedrals, archaeologists have found sealed-off rooms within the walls or beneath the floors. Were these storage spaces, or did they serve ritual purposes? In some cases, bones have been found, relics, perhaps, or burials that were never meant to be disturbed. Imagine the secrets still hidden in the very stones beneath your feet when you visit these sites. Let's not forget the music. The acoustics of Gothic cathedrals are so extraordinary that even a single voice can fill the entire space. Chanting in these walls was not just heard, it was felt. Some scholars believe the dimensions of cathedrals were designed to amplify certain frequencies, creating a transcendental effect on the listener. In other words, the building itself was an instrument of worship, shaping not only what you saw but what you heard and felt. This was immersive art long before virtual reality. Now, consider the sheer mystery of Notre Dame's construction. Records tell us little about who designed it, or even exactly how. The master builders remain shadowy figures. It almost feels as though the knowledge came from nowhere, as if the cathedral rose by itself, guided by some unseen hand. The workers left behind symbols, sometimes strange carvings tucked away in hidden corners, like little signatures. Were they just proud marks of craftsmanship, or cryptic notes to those who could understand? And then, of course, there is the question of relics. Many Gothic cathedrals were built to house them. Chartres, for instance, contains what is believed to be the tunic of the Virgin Mary. Pilgrims would travel for weeks or months to see such relics, convinced of their miraculous powers. But skeptics have long wondered, how many of these relics were authentic? Could the cathedrals have been deliberately designed to inspire awe and belief, regardless of authenticity? After all, the power of a relic often lay in what people believed about it, not in what it actually was. These mysteries remind us that Gothic cathedrals are not static museums, they are living monuments. Each stone tells a story, but not all of them are fully understood. Some secrets may remain forever hidden. And maybe that is the point. Perhaps the builders wanted to leave us with questions, to ensure that centuries later, we would still stand in awe, still wonder, still feel that chill on the back of our neck when the sunlight breaks through the stained glass and the shadows shift. So, next time you find yourself standing in front of a Gothic cathedral, whether it's Notre Dame, Cologne, Chartres, or Milan, look closer. Look at the faces of the gargoyles, the patterns in the glass, the hidden carvings in the corners. Ask yourself what the builders wanted you to see, and what they wanted you to miss. Because the truth is, these cathedrals are like giant puzzles, waiting to be solved. And perhaps, by searching for answers, we are drawn closer to the very mystery of faith, art, and human imagination itself. If you enjoyed watching, be sure to hit that like button. It truly makes a difference for the channel. Pass this video along to a friend who enjoys a great mystery. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that so you don't miss what's coming next. There's still so much to explore, and I'd love to have you join me for it.